What's up, everyone? It's Harpoon and Puppies with Op-Ed Gaming. So Ghost Recon Wildlands comes out in just a few days, and I still haven't decided if I'm going to be buying it or not based on my experience that I had with the beta. Now, because I like to keep things nice and positive around here, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the things that I did like about the game before I tell you about the things that I didn't like about the game. So the first thing I really like about this game is that the game world is huge, and it's beautiful to boot. Now, all the video footage you see in the background here was only taken on high settings, and you can still go to ultra. So if having just blazing, bleeding edge, cutting edge, lots of edge graphics in your game is important, this game is going to deliver for you. Now, with how big this map is, it's not uncommon for you to have like a mission that say is over 3 kilometers away from you. That's going to take you up and over some gorgeous mountain slash hill things or whatever you want to call them, maybe across some nice wide open plateaus or a little bit of a grassy field. And all of it is going to be spectacular to go through. It really is awesome. And you definitely can tell the distances in this game. It's not like some games where they say it's 3 kilometers away and you're there in about 30 seconds. No, this game, it takes you a while to get everywhere. And I really, really like this wide openness of the game because when you go to another objective, it gives you a freedom that you don't have with a lot of games. It gives you this freedom to attack the objective from many different ways. I don't know, do you want to come up the main road and just do a frontal assault on it? Do you want to go try to hide up amongst the hills and snipe down on them? Or do you want to just grab a helicopter and just baja right into the middle of it all and go Rambo style? With this game and how big and open it is, the world on this area is just your oyster, and it makes for a really good time in the game. But just assaulting your objective isn't all there is to the game. Of course, you gotta look pretty awesome while you're doing it, and that's another spot where I thought this game did a pretty good job, was with the weapons customizations and the player customizations. Now, the weapons options that you get aren't just something that you get for either leveling up or going out and killing a boss and taking their gun. No, like these are all the weapon mods, and the weapons themselves are things you have to find in the world. So it's another way that the devs have made it so that you get out there and you actually explore all the regions. Now, these regions are definitely tied into different intel missions and side quests and some of the main story, but it's nice that there's another layer there that forces you to get out and explore a little bit and enjoy what the devs have made for you. And of course, they've added just enough options to really make it seem that your guy is going to be personal. You're going to stand out amongst the crowds of the internet out there. Maybe you have a pretty outlandish guy. Maybe you have a pretty subdued guy. I did find out that you can make a guy that looks slightly like an 80s porn star, and that happened to be one of my characters because I thought it was hilarious. That's not the character you see going on in the background here. This is my Mr. America guy, but whatever. Again, options. It's pretty great. And so you guarantee that your guy is going to stand out amongst your friends and just the world at large. And it gives that game a much more personal feel. Speaking of your friends, this is another area where the game really did a good job, and that is in the co-op mechanics. Now, they're able to just come and go from your game as they please, and it's great because you don't have to do anything to really make it happen. If you happen to be in the middle of a mission, you don't have to restart the mission or do anything funky with the mission. They don't have to wait to jump in. They can just jump in, give you the extra firepower that you need, and you can complete the mission. However, likewise, if they want to be a dick, they could get you into the middle of like the real thick of it all and then just bail out and leave you on your own, in which case you're going to fail the mission. So, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, but it is a really nice feature, and I did enjoy it a lot while I was playing the beta, and I thought it worked just really well. So the gameplay in this game is also a lot of fun, and it can be really intense, especially at the hardest difficulty levels, where you definitely are going to have to make full use of your binoculars and your drones to scout the area first so you know what you're getting yourself into. Because it's way too easy sometimes to just run into a town blindly, and then next thing you know, you are in a pickle that you just cannot get out of. You're pinned behind a box, and you are getting surrounded. When those reinforcements show up, it changes everything. It's not just you added to the body count that of people that you've shot. It's now, well, I may want to get the hell out of Dodge and then come back and try to fight this again once the heat's off. Eventually, they will give up and kind of stop looking for you as long as you stop trying to shoot them. And so it's all these little things that do make it a pretty fun, like I said, pretty fun, a really fun game to play. But if I think it's such a solid game overall, why don't I necessarily want to buy it then? Well, that's a good question. I have 3 solid answers to those questions. One is mission repetition. Like most games in this genre, the missions can begin to feel a bit stale. They seem like they're just kind of copies of themselves. Go to this point, shoot all the people, grab this piece of paper, extract. Go to this point, shoot all the people, grab the piece of paper, grab this person, extract. You know, it kind of becomes repetitive for me. And this reminds me a lot of playing games like Red Dead Redemption or GTA or Division or really any of those style of games where it is an open world with missions or side missions. And I just tend to find this to be a case of the same crap on a different map. Arguably, this is way more of a personal taste thing for me than a real mark against the game. I mean, obviously games like this are extremely popular. People loved Red Dead Redemption. They love GTA. They love The Division. But if you're like me and you've had problems with those games in the past, well, this game, you just may kind of want to think it through before you drop the money on it, because it is very much like those, despite, you know, all of its great things that I like about it. It is still one of those style of games. Now, number two is a real gripe of mine, and I don't even know where to start with it. It is the vehicles. Now, for a map that's as big as this is, vehicles are extremely required. It's not just a nice thing to have, it's a requirement, because otherwise you're going to be hoofing it for a long time to get to the next objective. But the problem is that every vehicle in this game on PC, with the exception of the airplane, is just an absolute nightmare to drive. On Xbox, it's totally cool. Everything seems to be fine. They drive like normal because you have the extra little control with your thumbsticks and all that. But when you're using WASD and the mouse, it just all goes right out the window. And I just hate it even more because, again, it's so necessary to have those vehicles because of how huge the map is. And so it forces you into this choice. It's like either you run until, you know, tomorrow to get to your next objective, or you freaking jump in the potato copter and just absolutely hope for the best, or the potato truck, or the potato tank. Potanko? And then finally, the last thing, number three, the AI. Again, where do I start with this? The AI is just useless. This game is a lot of fun when you're playing with your friends or playing with other people, things that can think. Use the crap that's up here. But the AI is just dumb. It's actually kind of almost worse than that. They're some kind of weird form of negative uselessness. It's just, because they give you this false hope that they might actually kill an enemy because the enemy's right in front of them, or that they might actually have your back because they're nowhere to be seen by you. And when you look at your mini-map, they're like 50 meters over that way, so maybe they're covering an alleyway, right? I found out really, really quickly that neither of these things are actually the case. You can't count on it. From what I can see, they don't ever actually shoot at the enemies with any kind of sense of urgency. I mean, there's been times where the enemy is right there, and my guy is just staring at them. They don't do anything with any sense of urgency. They rarely stick around you. Again, they're always just like 50 meters off that way, or still way back down there for some reason. You don't know where the heck they're going, or why they're there, or when they're going to come back, if they will. So for me, these 3 things are really, really hard for me to overlook when, you know, trying to drop potentially $60+ on a game. Now, I'm trying to keep in mind that this was a tech beta and that things should improve with the full launch of the game. But these are more than just the small glitches that I expect from a tech beta. No, the things that I pointed out, I feel like are some pretty deep core issues. I mean, AI isn't a small thing to write, I don't think. Vehicle controls are not just a small feature of the game. I mean,
2.9 kilometers?
I guess, I don't know. I'm not a dev, so I don't know how serious these are to patch or fix, but for me, these need to be fixed before I'll even consider buying the game. So what can I say? This is the beta that they released to the public, and it was released only a few weeks before the actual launch of the game, and it just seems like it may be too much to try to fix without. It's going to be too much to try to fix before release, and something that they're going to have to patch later on. And once the things start getting patched, I might come back to this game. But so there you have it, guys. Let me know your thoughts on everything I just had to say today in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe to Op-Ed for more of this kind of video goodness. And I also have a Twitch account. Go ahead and check me out there at twitch.tv/Op-Ed Gaming. I'm also on Twitter at OpEdGaming0. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you guys later.